Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFX-TV. I am the WrestleGamer, Double B, Money Boudreaux, being joined first off by our resident music mogul over on YouTube.com/Lance Moss TV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks for having me.
And ladies and gentlemen, from the Houdat Temple over in the Big Easy East, James. James, how you doing?
All I got to say to Genesis is, no. Yeah,
that's pretty much the way a lot of people have been feeling about Genesis, ladies and gentlemen, as we're looking at part one of Genesis. Apparently, Genesis will be divided into two parts. You know, we had part one last night, and we'll have part two coming up next week. But let's look at the opening. You know, when we look at Dixie Carter bringing out all the heels of the company, Lance, I mean, she brought out Magnus, started hyping up Magnus, then she really hyped up all the heels, and I gotta say, it was kind of, in my opinion, Lance, kind of a dull, bland way to open up Genesis.
Yeah, I was in a call with some other guys, and they all agree that was WCW circa 2000-esque, where it just started going to crap.
The New Blood.
Yep, and the Millionaires Club. Yeah, it had that vibe. It had that feeling. But what I really liked is when they picked it up in segment two, you know, when they had Sting in the crowd, and he starts bringing out everybody who is going to start fighting against Dixie, you know, like everybody who was involved in, you know, being taken out and whatnot, which kind of evolves into what the first match was, a 12-person. Yes, you heard me right, 12-person, not 12-man, 12-person, as we had James Storm, Gunner, Eric Young, Joseph Park, Samoa Joe, and ODB taking on Bromance, Mad Influence, Zema Ion, and Lei'd Tapa. And I gotta say, Lance, you know, for as bland of an opening Genesis had with Dixie bringing out all the heels, this 12-man tag kind of makes up for it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the most organized 12-person. It was basically a sanctioned brawl, basically.
Yep, and the finish of it is with Samoa Joe with the Conquista clutch on Daniels to get the win. One thing I've always noticed, I don't know if this is something that's happened to you guys, but have you ever ended up started listening to Mike Tenay and Taz on commentary and ever felt like falling asleep?
Anytime I watch TNA, I feel like falling asleep.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's kind of one of my major issues with me being a commentator myself, is the fact that Mike Tenay and Taz are just not doing a very good job on commentary. You know, when they need to bring the excitement part, you know, when they need to bring that level of excitement, you know, so the fans can feel that energy through your commentary, they're just not doing it. You know, and they're just failing on so many levels. Mike Tenay was good in WCW. Now it's just, I don't know. And I don't even know what Taz is doing there, to be honest. You know, he poorly puts over the heels. He poorly gets on the faces. And I just don't know what he's doing. So, you know, one of the, you know, even though I will still watch TNA, it's just something that I have a gripe about. It's the fact that, you know, there's not good commentary anymore within the company. But let's look at this next segment. It all started backstage with Velvet Sky talking to Austin Aries about something. Then next, you know, Sabin comes up to her. He's angry about it. Velvet Sky says she doesn't want to talk about it back here, and Sabin said, fine, you don't want to talk about it back here? We'll go to the ring. You know, they went to the ring. Sabin starts asking her what's going on. Austin Aries comes out, and it kind of delves into a match now with Chris Sabin taking on Austin Aries. Well, it was proposed by Aries for Velvet Sky to be in a cage. Sabin said, my girl will never do that because my girl will do exactly what I say. Velvet Sky had enough. She took the microphone, agreed to it, and also warned Sabin that if Sabin did not win, that she might have to find someone else to spend her time with. And I must say, though, James, that whoever gets to spend their time with Velvet Sky is a very, very lucky person.
In the words of Lance, that bastard.
Yeah, definitely. Lance, let's look at this backstage segment that followed that. It's Simon Diamond. He was talking to Samuel Shaw backstage. Diamond was kind of, giving him some advice, encouraging him, congratulating him for his first victory, and then makes a remark, with a piece of advice saying, this whole eye staring thing you're doing with Christy Hemme, you need to kind of, forget about that and focus on in-ring work. And then next, Shaw flips out and viciously assaults Diamond. When it comes to Samuel Shaw, what kind of character do you think we're looking at here, just based on what we've seen so far?
Psycho boyfriend.
Pretty much.
Psycho boyfriend's kind of stalker-ish type deal. Because I think they've been on like one televised date. One.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a little bit of an infatuation for redheads.
Well, anyway, the no disqualification match was next. Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson. And one's got to figure, James, if the funeral home segment that they did last week would be any indicator of what was going to be taking place for this match. We were expecting probably some dark things, and we nearly got a flaming table in this match. As we lost connection with James, we do apologize about that. But Lance, like I was saying, we nearly got a flaming table in this no disqualification match. I know a lot of fans would have loved to have seen that, especially considering the way that the angle with Bully Ray and Anderson was going. And they kind of dangled the carrot, but they ended up finishing it with the pile driver. And do you think that was the right way to finish that match?
If you're going to tease it, because they've teased it like 3 or 4 times, eventually you got to do it. Oh, hey, they ain't going to do it. Yeah. Quit teasing us, damn it.
Yeah, we are endeavoring to get James back here on the Genesis Part 1 review, guys and gals. Be sure you just, bear with us for right now as we look for Kurt Angle had been looking for Dixie Carter and Al Snow all night. He found Al Snow backstage. Kurt Angle demanding answers about who made him do it, who made him fake the emergency he had with his family, and he said Dixie, and then he went to the ring and was demanding answers from Dixie, and Dixie saying, she was just protecting Kurt from himself, protecting him from making a bad decision. And Kurt Angle said, he had intentions on being there for the main event with Sting versus EC3. Dixie Carter said, if you do that, you might lose your job. And Kurt Angle said, if you want to fire me right now. And she said, you're not in the right mind frame this week. Your matchup is postponed until next week. She got security to try to get him out of there. Then Bobby Roode jumps him, hits him with what I believe they called the Roode Bomb, that Death Valley driver. The Roode Bomb.
Yeah. There's something like that.
So, something to that extent. And next they just drag Angle out of there. I don't know what else to say about that one. The Knockouts Championship match, very interesting on this one here. Have we had any luck making contact with James again, Lance?
I'm looking. He's offline.
All right, he might be having some internet issues. So again, guys, we do apologize about that. But the Knockouts.
Okay, there he is.
Oh well, James, we're going to bring James in here. As you hear, we're trying to get him in right now. as we look at the Knockouts Championship match. Gail Kim defending against Madison Rayne. And at one point in this match, Lady Tapa ends up getting herself thrown out, and then within a blink of an eye, Madison Rayne hits the raindrop finisher and gets the win. So therefore, your new Knockouts champion is Madison Rayne. James, what are your thoughts about that? Madison Rayne, the new Knockouts champion.
It's really surprising that they gave the title to Madison Rayne. I thought they would have let Gail Kim win, but it's TNA, what you expect. But this is her 5th reign.
Well, you could also look at it like this, you know, a good feud starting between Madison Rayne and Gail Kim.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, it is.
Sting taking on EC3, it kind of had the stink of something that was going to happen, and something did happen. It was first with Rockstar Spud being the special guest referee for the matchup, and at one point, the Magnus came out, revealed he had a referee shirt on, pulled Rockstar out of there, and did a fast count, screwing Sting out of the matchup with EC3, which then leads up to this. This is something that, you know, we really need to touch on, gentlemen, is the challenge made to Magnus by Sting, and it has been accepted. Sting putting up his career, his new contract against Magnus for the TNA Heavyweight Championship, which will apparently be the main event for part 2 of Genesis next week. So I got to ask you, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Again, it's Sting putting up, you know, his contract against Magnus's title. Lance, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I think it's Sting's way out. Because we all know TNA is sinking fast. I just think it's his way of getting out of the company.
James, what about you?
I think it's the same thing. Since most likely, I think, well, if Sting loses, let the rumors begin!
And speaking of that, one thing left to address is Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards of Ring of Honor now officially signed up with TNA. What are you guys' reactions to that?
WWE passed up with a good tag team. They just decided, we need big guys. TNA got them. Now, I'm just interested in who is this TNA investor.
And that's a good question. You know, because last time we kind of heard something like that, it happened in WCW, and that happened to be Vince McMahon. So I'm not stirring the pot. I'm not starting any rumors here. You know, we're only basing some things on assumptions. Lance, do you think you
know what happens when you assume?
Yeah. Now, do you think Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards might have jumped on TNA maybe a tad too late?
That's like jumping on the Titanic after it hit the iceberg. You're going down.
On that note, guys and gals, it's time to find out our overall scores and our picks for best and worst match or segment of TNA Genesis Part 1. That is numero uno. For me, guys and gals, it's going to get a 3.5 out of 5. It was, I got to say, the highlight of the night, my match, best match of the night, is going to go to Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson. Despite everything else, I got to say it was a really entertaining match. The build-up really helped this match. The matchup lived to the hype to an extent. The Flaming Table would have been something really cool to see, really exciting to see for fans, out there who wanted to see him. Because for years, Bully Ray and Devon, of the Dudley boys throughout ECW and some instances in WWE have been kind of synonymous with Flaming Tables. Well, more in ECW more than anything. But, seeing him with a Flaming Table again probably would have not only been exciting, but nostalgic. in a sense, but it was still a good match, and I gotta say, probably best match of the night. Worst match, I gotta go to Sting's and EC3 and that screw job. To me, what was the point? I mean, you're trying to, if you want to build up EC3 to kind of be this paper type of guy, well, they're doing it correctly. Other than that, if you want to be built up as a true star in the ring, it's just, they're not really doing it the proper way. Derek Bateman, a.k.a. Ethan Carter III, that does have the talent, but TNA is just, they're not letting him showcase it. It's kind of like Ricardo Rodriguez in the WWE. We know he has the talent to do it. WWE just won't let him do it. And to me, I'm afraid that's what Ethan Carter III is suffering with right now in TNA, is that kind of disease where we know he has the talent, but they won't let him showcase the proper talent. But the screw job, you know what? Strike that from the record. Worst segment of the night is the opening with Dixie Carter. Hands down. Because it was such a bland, dull, as Lance said earlier, a very WCW-esque 2000 way of opening the show. And what happened to WCW in the 2000s? Sank. So that's my opinion, guys. Let's go over to Lance and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of TNA Genesis Part 1.
Well, overall, and I'm being nice on this one, 2.5. Best match, yeah, I'll go with the Anderson,
Bully
Ray, because I don't know if y'all heard this, but I think Anderson said, "Asshole, get the table." Like, it was light, you could barely hear it, but it was "Asshole, get the table." Best segment, kind of a toss up between Village Sky chewing out what's his nuts?
Sabin.
Yeah, chewing his ass out, and the tribute to Mae Young. The rest of the damn show.
Yeah, that's another thing we need to point out. TNA did pay respects to Mae Young, and I thought that was really a really honorable thing and respectful thing that TNA did to do. James, what about you? Your picks, your overall score and your picks are best and worst match or segment of TNA Genesis Part 1.
I did watch the recaps of like the other segments that I missed because I didn't the first hour of that show. But I give it a 2 out of 5. All right. The worst segment is the beginning. The best match is the no DQ match between Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson.
All right, guys and gals, again, we still have Part 2 of TNA Genesis to look forward to next week. That's the steel cage match between Kurt Angle and Bobby Roode. And if Roode wins, Kurt Angle cannot be inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. And we also have the big matchup, Sting putting his career on the line against Magnus for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. And as Lance said, one way for fans to view it as Sting's way out of TNA. But what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on TNA Genesis Part 1. Also, don't forget, next week we also have Chris Sabin defending the X Division title against Austin Aries with Velvet Sky in a cage at ringside. And if Sabin loses, he doesn't only lose the title, but he's going to lose Velvet Sky as well. But also, don't forget, we want to know what you guys have to say about TNA Genesis Part 1 tonight, from last night, rather. What are your picks for best and worst match or segment? What are your overall scores? We want to hear from you guys out there. You should put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Lance Wicked fans expect to see them to come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV.
Q&As, NASCAR reviews, album reviews, redneck gourmet cooking videos, and whatever else pops into my head.
When he's not trying to steal my hat style, James is over in the Hoodad Temple. James, you got anything coming up?
Not of anything. I am actually doing a little test before I go on to uVlog. That announcement I have made. MVP and I will be on uVlog now. But I'll be on the WGS-TV Facebook page and the Hardcore Wrestling Radio Facebook page. I have not posted anything, but I will be posting news articles soon on both pages.
Fans, don't forget to like that Facebook page, facebook.com/WGS-TV. You can live chat and follow along with my live coverage of all shows. And again, that's all shows, including WWE Main Event. Rick Starr apparently doesn't like that show. And you can also live chat with yours truly during each live show on the Facebook page. So don't forget to like that page, and also don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the incomparable Lance Moss of Lance Moss TV and James in the Hoodad Temple, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Bujo, saying, Sabin, be kind to Velvet Sky.